Okay, what's going on, guys? And welcome to a brand new episode of Energized. Today we have a very special guest on the show.
We have undefeated Cage Warriors legend, our mate, Ian, the future, Garry!
What's up, boys?
Ian, welcome
Ian,
back.
Good intro, man.
Ian, you're a bloody resident on the show, you know what I mean? Here, ring up Graham Boylan there and ask him, do they need any spare ring announcers? I could be like the understudy.
You're learning from Bruce Buffer is what you're doing.
Yeah,
Taking
yeah.
out
Well,
those
he
rings.
gave me good advice that time I met him. You know, he was like,
Exactly, yeah.
he was like, Ross, you're next when I retire when I'm 90.
Yeah, he's never going to retire. He's never.
He is the best job ever, lads.
Oh,
All he
man.
has to do, it's so easy. Like, he has no stress whatsoever. All he has to do is call a name and a decision.
In fairness, sometimes he does, like when he's calling out like Ioanni and Jacek or Karolina Kolkovajevic. That's stressful trying to get those names right.
Yeah, but you'll get once you ask them and you get them right, they're done. That's it.
With Bruce Buffer, it doesn't look like he was just made to do that. Like he was like, you were
He's
going
so
to be
good.
an announcer. It's just, and even his
He's so
brother
good.
Michael. But for the people that are just tuning in, how's it going? This weekend, UFC 250's on. Ian was on previously for the UFC 249 breakdown, and he actually won with his calls. Ian got eight right. Myself and Ross got 6, so like you should be listening.
He's the pick champion.
He is the pick champion.
I've done well that day.
But it was just Ian currently fights with Cage Warriors for people that don't know, and it was actually announced by Graham Boylan, who's in charge of Cage Warriors, that they could be set for a return in September. So Ian, tell us some news, will you?
Wow, I'm ready. Yes. I said to my mom, I came home yesterday, and I was like, man, we're good. We're going. It's September. That's the date. They posted it up. And
Booked a flights to Belfast.
Yeah, my dad was like, oh, I seen that. I hope it's Belfast. That'd be great. And it means they have the venue booked, so it's perfect already if they need that. So I'm hoping that's kind of the case. I don't really care where it is. They might stay over in England so that the staff don't have to fly away. I don't really know what the story is, but I sent the boss man a text and I told him I'm ready when he needs me. I'm here. He knows what's up. But yeah, I'm just buzzing now that I have not a date, but I have a time frame. I know that come August, September, because it could be a little bit earlier, could end up being August. So I know now.
There's light at the end of the tunnel.
Exactly, and there's a time. Doesn't matter when it is in August, September, but there's a time frame roughly there put in place. So I know I'm looking forward to it now. I'm literally in a zone now where I'm like, right, so I said it to my mates the other day. I was like, look, this lockdown's been great. Seeing is all. I've seen some of my mates more than I have in the last couple of weeks than I have over the last 2-3 years. And I said, that's it. I'm gone. I love yous and leave yous, but I'll be back down the rabbit hole. I'll see you in a couple of months.
Well, that's good for you as well. You know, I mean, you're still a young lad, so
yeah.
You know, I mean, that's good.
It's nice to keep the connections.
Yeah, 100%. And also, like I was just saying there the other day that as much Zoom conversations as you have, there's still not that energy of it. That it's not 100% the same. You know what I mean? It's just
no, and I agree, and that's the type of person I am. Like I can be energetic over the phone, and I can try change the kind of the feeling by just being a bit more hyperactive. But when I'm in a group, if I was sitting with the two of you now, you'd feel like you can feel the energy, and I thrive off stuff like that. When people get excited, I start getting jittery and like yes, and I start getting a bit mad. But yeah, no, it was great having the lockdown. Like I took the lockdown as a positive. It was a time where I got to kind of relax, rewind, and over the last couple of years, I've just been hell set on making it to where I am right now, and it's kind of gone. Right, you've got a couple of months break now, and then you're straight back on it. So it's like a refresh.
It is,
so
isn't it?
I get to go back in now and do my thing and enjoy it even more. And people are going to want it more because we haven't had it for a while. And hopefully, I kind of think the hype might be more. I think it could possibly be more hype now.
What do you mean?
Because everybody wants it. Yeah, I think so. I think because people have they wanted it more so than if it was going to happen anyway. Whereas now, as they've been deprived of kind of my fights, and they're going to look forward to coming out to my fights or watching the fights or going to one of the lads to watch it because it's going to be behind closed doors or something. It'll give people, my mates, my friends, my family, all that. It'll give them all something to look forward to and to tune into. So I'm just taking it as a positive, and I'm looking forward now. We've got a date, and I'm going to go in there and scalp someone and do my job.
And that's what they say. The future is inevitable, and we love following your road to greatness. But speaking of greatness, there was a bit of controversy there the other day with you, Ian. Do you want to tell everyone what happened?
Who's after Jerome?
No. Yeah. Anyway, wait. What's your address again? But no. So basically, I put up a poster today, and Ross, me and you had a little bit of back and forth about it. But it's a very good conversation. I was talking to my friends about it, and we got into kind of a discussion. But I put up a post saying, who are the 3 greatest athletes of all time? Now, obviously, it's very broad. I mean, the word athlete, it doesn't specify specifically what I'm asking for or whatever. But that's the beauty of it, is I'm not asking for something specific. I'm asking for your opinion, your kind of interpretation of what the word athlete means. Does your word athlete mean a freak of nature, like a GSP who could have been like a UFC fighter, a sprinter, an Olympian for all we know? Does it mean like a Usain Bolt who could go out and run faster than any man on the planet and it's just a freak? Or does it mean someone who is the best at winning? Does it mean someone like Michael Phelps, who's literally who's won more medals in the Olympics than countries have? It's all open up to interpretation. So mine were Michael Jordan, Cristiano Ronaldo, and Tom Brady. The reason I picked all 3 of them was because every single one of them are hardworking, determined, and they all want to win above everything else. Regardless of whatever happens, their will to win is always greater than the other person. And you've seen that time and time again. That's why Ronaldo is so good. Tom Brady is so good. And obviously Ronaldo and Jordan are freaks, but the conversation me and Ross had was about Tom Brady. And my argument was, yeah, Tom Brady's not the fastest, he's not the biggest, he's not the strongest, he doesn't have all the bells and whistles, the biceps, the muscles, looks like he's carved from granite. But what's the point in having all that stuff if you're not wired right from the inside? If your head isn't in the right spot and you can't mentally focus, or you haven't got the mental strength to back yourself up and push yourself forward day in, day out, every day, wake up, strive to be better, then what's the point? So that's why I put him there. I mean, he was counted out from day one. He was the 199th draft pick, and he's the greatest of all time in the NFL. He's 6 Super Bowls, you know what I mean? And yeah, he's not the fastest, he's not the strongest, but it's his mindset that I picked for one of the greatest, and that's why I put him down. So it's a good little conversation to get into and to have the argument about, because I mean, you could sit here and say 3 people that I would never even think about it, but you can come up with a valid excuse for all of them. It's just kind of nice to listen to.
Yeah, it almost seems like there's no real wrong answer.
There isn't. It's all
Tom Brady. I think it's the way you interpret the question, and I interpret it as an athlete, and the way I interpret it was, if you took 3 people and then they had to play any sport, who would win the most out of any sport?
Who'd you say?
I said Usain Bolt, was like fast man of all time.
That'll be useful somewhere.
Yeah.
But put him in the water and what good is he?
Man, have you seen those legs? He'd be like a motorboat in there. That engine. I picked LeBron James. I think LeBron James is probably the best athlete to ever play sports, just as like a physical specimen. And then I picked GSP to finish off it, because like he's my personal favorite. And then like when I was watching him do the gymnastics as part of his MMA training, I was like, oh, he's next level.
Yeah.
So he's almost gone more for mind mentality, and you've gone for like physical attributes.
Well, I think all 3 would tick that box as well. I actually think I might pick Ronaldo as well. I actually think I did the 4th, didn't I?
Ronaldo, I think Ronaldo's a dead cert. I mean,
yeah.
Like, I mean, again, here's another argument. Ronaldo or Messi? Do you pick Messi because of his sheer talent and just his ability to do something with a ball that is just unteachable, kind of? You can't teach someone to do the stuff with a ball that he does with his feet.
Yeah.
Whereas Ronaldo is just, you've heard stories from all his teammates. He's the first one in, he's the last one there. Like, wasn't there a story about someone he signed for Real Madrid or he signed for Juventus or something like that? And he was like, "Oh, I'm going to make a great impression. I'm going to show up to train an hour early so that all the lads know I'm serious." And when he arrived to the training ground, Ronaldo was sitting there on the field kicking free kicks or something like that. And like he was an extra 2 hours early or something like that. That's the stuff I'm talking about. Mental stuff that can't be. You can't teach someone to be mentally strong or to be mentally pushing. That you're born with it, you're not. But like Ronaldo can sit there and go to the gym and he can do everything to make his body better. And choke with Tom Brady, but he doesn't need to, because their mind does the winning for them. It's fast. So that was my aspect on that, and that's the way I look at it. Like you can throw Conor McGregor into that if you want to think of mindsets and stuff like that. And Kobe Bryant and Michael Phelps and all them and Usain Bolt, they're all top level athletes. But it's just a good conversation to get into.
Oh, I think if the question was who is the most top 3 dominant athletes of all time, you definitely have to consider Tom Brady. You definitely have to consider Michael Jordan, Usain Bolt, Michael Phelps, Tiger Woods. I think Tiger Woods was like world number 1 for over 10 years.
You can put Roy Keane in there. You can put Roy Keane in there, definitely, with mentality.
Yeah, you could. Well, I think if you're going to see, this is the thing. If you're going to say the top 3 most dominant athletes, well, then for me, you can't look past Bolt and Phelps. Like Phelps has won more medals than countries have, and he's literally a fish. And then Mayweather, maybe 50 fights in boxing, undefeated. Do you know what I mean?
How did Michael Phelps not get cast as Aquaman?
I don't know. That would have been unbelievable. Like, it makes sense. It makes sense.
Although I'm a big fan of Jason Momoa.
He's a sticker. He has to be the coolest bloke on the planet.
Yeah, he loves a pint against well, Basman. You love him.
Yeah, I heard that.
I think if I could choose, if you asked me, if you woke up tomorrow and asked me, could I be someone else like for a day, I'd be him. I just think he's cool. You see him sitting around on his Harleys, like they're proper like restored things, with his Guinness in his hand, his long black hair, and he's just that Simone kind of like dogged look where he's just he's a cool bloke. So.
My missus always goes to me, goes, "There's your boyfriend." I was like, "Yeah, damn straight."
He is. He's a cool bloke, like, and you can't not respect that he's a good looking lad as well. Like he's easily up there as one of the best looking lads in the world.
Yeah, what's called, if he walked into a bar, you definitely like probably leave with your missus. Like, right, we're going.
Absolutely.
You tell the bouncer he's underage. But Ian, after going all over that, now obviously you have like light at the end of the tunnel, knowing that you like realistically are probably going to be back in September. What's that sort of mentality like? Those mentalities. What do you take the most out of them? Like now that you have like even like a couple of months to build towards September. What are you going to take from that? Because you're still molding your craft. Like what like looking at all them superstars. What do you want to take most from that?
So I've been saying this to my mom and dad recently, and to Chris and Tom and stuff, and just the lads that I'm talking to in the gym, and I just feel like that gap that may have been between prospecting contender or prospecting champion and up and comer is gone. It's not there anymore. I'm coming out to show everyone that I'm it. I'm what's next. Like I just don't understand. I put a tweet up last night. I was sitting downstairs and I was just thinking about it. I was watching some stuff from Muhammad Ali, and I was watching just some stuff on YouTube, and I was just thinking to myself, I don't see how my mind is going to be like beaten. No one can break me. Like I think my willingness to win, my obsession with winning is next level. I think I'll do anything. Like I'd bat to my mom if I had to win a fight. You know what I mean? I wouldn't care less. Like, I wouldn't care less. Like she knows that. Like I just, there's something in me that is different, and I'm wired differently, and it's the way I'm made. And look, some people may call it delusional, and some people may call it young and dumb and whatever. We'll see. But
sometimes you have to be, man. Sometimes you have to be young and dumb as well, though. You know.
Well, if I don't believe in myself, who's going to do it? You know what I mean? So, I'll prove. As I said in the end of the tweet, I said, "Give me time. I'll prove it in time." So I'm just at my mindset now after all this lockdown and wanting to get back into fighting and wanting to get back training, and it's going to be scary now to see the next fight unfold, and I don't know what way it's going to go. I don't know if I'm going to go in there and steamroll someone, if I'm going to go in there and absolutely like just pulverize someone and take them 3 rounds and just dominate them and make them feel like shit. I don't know. I don't care. I'll see.
Yeah.
But it'll be my decision. It won't be anyone else's. So,
well, this time is like a real big time to reflect. Myself and Ross, like, we started doing combat training as well, and even like just driving the Energized show and getting loads of guests on and just growing it as much as possible.
Like, you should come out to the gym and do some training when this all opens up. When we can get back training, using that to come out to KF and do some training.
Ross has been calling out Chris Fields for a long time. But speaking of that, any idea when the gym's going to open now? Because I think, you know.
Well, obviously for me,
calling out Chris Fields.
We can try sort out. But I think the official opening is the 10th of August. I think that's when the government have said that we can reopen the gym. Obviously, it could be sooner, it could be later if stuff kind of takes a mad turn and gets worse again. But I'll have to talk to Chris and see can we sort something, because obviously it's my job as a fighter. So if I have something in September, it's necessary for me to train. So I'll have to talk to him and Tom and see what way we can organise it. But at the moment, I don't know. I'd just be talking shit if I told you anything. So
no, that's fine.
Yeah, and plus, your mom doesn't want to be your sparring partner anymore, so she hopes sooner rather than later.
She was sitting there yesterday, right? And she was looking at her leg and she was pointing at it, going, "This bruise is from you, and this bruise is from you." I was like, I don't care. I was like, stop being soft and let's go then.
You need to start learning to check those leg kicks, ma'am.
Exactly. I'd walk by and she'd be sitting there working at home, and I'm just like sinking in the rear naked. She's like hand fighting, and she's tickling me and all. She's getting good at this. She's knowing the kind of ins and outs in it. Like if I put my right hand under, she's 2-on-1 on this, and then she knows the left one's going to come in. So then she's changing hands. She's getting good.
That's good. No, that's good actually. But like, are your family big into the MMA now just because you, or did they like it beforehand, or are they big into it?
So my dad's been big into everything I've wanted to do always. So he's been behind me 110%. Like when we went to boxing, when we done boxing, he was always behind me. He was coming over to trips over to Denmark and to Birmingham and everywhere with me. He'd be coming away, and he'd be getting involved in doing charity events so we could raise money for the club. He's always been behind me, whether it was hurling, gaff, whatever it was. My mom a little bit less so when it comes to the contact sport, because we get hurt or anything like that. But that's mom's food, you know what I mean? No man wants to stand there and watch their son get kicked in the head or something like that. So that's kind of understandable. But no, she's behind me 110%, and the whole family's kind of gotten into it more. Like my dad will come into me and go, "See that video of such and such trainer that fights in it?" So I'm like, "No," and he's like, "Yeah, it's gonna be a great fight." I'm like, "How do you even know who that is?" Like, I'm like, "You don't know?" He's like, "Oh, it's great fight. Yeah, I seen that." I'm like, so it's good to have.
Because your dad subscribed to the Energized show, so he knows the source.
Yeah, he's mad into it. He loves it, so he's good, and it's good to have them behind and be a part of the journey as opposed to not really knowing what it is or what we're doing. And yeah, it's just nice to have them.
That's big shout out to Papa G.
Papa G will come back soon now, and he'll start delegating orders now and what I have to do today and what I need to do for him.
Yeah.
Madness.
Okay, here first of all, this has been great crack. If you're new to the show, make sure to like and subscribe, because we're going to get into the world of mixed martial arts right now. Like here, I think we may as well start off with last week's main event, as Gilbert Burns totally dominated Tyron Woodley, and it was actually sort of sad to see Tyron Woodley just looking like he has nothing left in the gas tank. Ross, you take it away, bud.
From watching fights previously, and I think this is what happened to Tyron Woodley on this occasion, is he got caught early, and he got caught big early. And I think ever since that first round, which could easily have been a 10-8 round for Burns, I don't think Woodley ever got it back into the fight. I don't think his head was ever in the fight.
What do you think exactly is wrong with him, though? There's something seriously wrong with him.
I think there's certain Well,
He's a
there's
rapper.
that. But I think there's certain things that, he freezes with, and he's frozen against Usman, he's frozen against Roy McDonald, and then he froze against the Gil Burns fight. I just don't know if he has it in him anymore to, gear up for that fight. He's 38 now, and Gilbert Burns was much hungrier coming into that fight. Also, Gilbert Burns is like training partners with Kamaru Usman, so he knew exactly how to back him up and load him up. But also, I thought going into the fight, Woodley looked a lot less muscular going into that fight than he did have previously. So I don't know if he's training as hard. I don't know if he wants it as much as he wanted it before.
Ian, what are your thoughts?
I mean, for me, Gilbert Burns is such a scary dude in the sense that he doesn't care. He'll walk you down. He'll hunt you down because what are you going to do? You're going to take him down? Great. Do you know what I mean? He's going to walk at you, swing whatever he has. And if you even attempt to grab a hold of him or drop a double or just put your hands on him, you're entering a world now where you're definitely less superior than him. I think he's probably the best grappler in the welterweight division at the moment, and he's obviously trained, like he's in the same gym as Kamaru Usman. He knows what that kind of feels like. I don't know how much rounds they get in together. I don't know what the situation is. I know they do train together, and they're friends, but he's no fear, and he has a great reason to have no fear because when you're a striker, which Woodley is mainly considered to be a striker, he's got big overhand right, good pressure, kind of walk people back and catches them off guard. Gilbert Burns didn't have to worry about that because he was going, I'm going to push him back and put him under pressure so that he can't offload. And if he is offloading, it's just so that when I'm pushing back, it's he has to move, he has to do something or otherwise I'm just going to let you run at him and he's not going to be able to do anything.
What about, sorry, do you think the smaller cage made a difference, or do you think this was inevitable?
No, I think actually if there was a bigger cage, it would have just been more room for Woody to run around. It would have been boring. Yeah. I think the smaller cage is probably a good thing for Burns because you could get more kind of activity. I mean, if you get a cluster of strikes, you're going to get out of there and you're going to circle off, and maybe if it's 5 seconds, but you do that 10 times in a round, that's 50 seconds gone. That's really like it's a massive time if you do that for 5 rounds. You know what I mean? You don't think about it. This could be 5 minutes sitting there just running around the cage. But Gilbert Burns is a scary talent, and his jiu-jitsu is world class. And I think he's a great understanding of his style and what he needs to do to win. And yeah, I don't know really what the crack is going forward with who he fights next, with Usman being his teammate and stuff like that. But I mean, he'll want that belt, and I don't think he'll care if Usman's his teammate or not. Out of respect, Usman will understand the feeling of he wants to be next, he wants that belt. And maybe it might happen, I don't know. Have 2 teammates ever fought for a belt?
Yeah.
John
Jones and Rashad Evans.
Rashad Evans, yeah.
But I think Rashad Evans left the gym though for that.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Were they at the same gym at the same time? Like,
I think Greg Jackson famously picked John Jones over Rashad Evans. Not the worst decision, but the loyalty doesn't seem there with the Jackson Winklejohn, because that's what happened with Mike Perry and Cowboy.
Yes.
And Cowboy left the gym. So like it can be defining moment in people's careers. You know what I mean?
Well, see,
leaving their gyms.
The weird aspect is now, right? So just from a point of view, I know what Chris would do, like as a coach, breaking down a fighter, breaking down a game plan for another fighter. Does Henry Hooft and the guys at Hard Knocks, do they both coach against each other?
How are you meant to do that even? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
get what
you
I'm
should
trying to say,
stand, and then it's like he's going to stand. You know?
Like, are they just going to go, right, lads, we're not going to corner you. We'll send someone in for water and to make sure you're okay. But, like, I know if that was Chris, and say it was me and James or something, and me and James were fighting for maybe a cage, just to kind of bring it into the same kind of aspect.
Yeah.
He'd go, right, lads, off you go. I'm not getting involved in this. Is that what's going to happen? Is if they do fight, are they going to be cornered? Are they going to pick like a teammate? Like maybe I might pick like an Adam Shelley, and James may pick like someone in the gym to come in and just give them water and be like, right, you're doing well. So you're not getting any.
But you might have Herbert Burns, who's fighting this weekend, corner his brother Gilbert Burns, and then you might have Vicente Luque corner Kamaru Usman, or you know what, like I think
100%.
Henry Cejudo's good mates with Kamaru Usman as well. Like he might go and corner him. You know what I mean?
But this is the thing, because I know Chris and Tom, they wouldn't pick a side. I know they wouldn't. I know that's not how they do it. They'd literally go, right, lads, this is like a spar. Off you go, get in there. We're not going to coaches. We're not going to pick a side. You're both our guys. We both want you to succeed. But you're both come to this point in your career where you have to fight each other because you're both the two best guys in the world. You pick a guy to come in there, give you your water, make sure you're okay, wipe you down during the round, and give you a thing of ice to cool you down a little bit. That's it. And I think that's a fair game plan. They fought each other, I'd say, before in the gym, and they're going to know their strong suits are against each other, and they're going to just do it.
Alternatively, I think another scenario could be is realistically they should like fight each other almost on short notice. How it's not like that long of a build up, so like it would like let the camp fracture less. And what if they're going right? Neither you can actually both go join another gym because they're in Florida. There's loads of gyms in Florida. Go join another gym for 6 weeks, and then have a fight, and you can both come back.
There's no way that would happen because you're not going to allow another fighter to go to a gym and fight for a UFC title. Say Usman stays in Hard Knocks and Gilbert Burns goes to
ATT,
and then he wins, and now the belt's at ATT and not at Hard Knocks, and then you get a kind of a separation like a Dillashaw and Cody Garbrandt type of thing where you're leaving the club to become better, but you're not. And it just causes kind of unnecessary beef.
Is that the fight you lads want to see? Because an easy way to change this all would just be like, right, Usman, you're fighting Masvidal, so therefore Gilbert Burns has to find someone else. So like what like to sort of what would you want to see?
The sort of brackets there. Usman's obviously the champ, and then there's obviously Leon Edwards, Kamaru Usman, and Gilbert Burns. So all four of the guys there who are going to fight for the title are next. Personally, I'd rather see Masvidal fight Usman and maybe Roberts fight Burns. I'm just more so interested in that those matchups. Leon Edwards. Sorry, Edwards fight Burns. I think style-wise, I think they're both very good matchups, and I think I just want to see Masvidal back in there. Like, he after winning that BMF belt, he's taken a long time to step back in. I think UFC is very much so struggling to get the deal signed with Usman and Masvidal, so we might not actually see it next.
I don't really want to see Usman Masvidal.
You want to see Burns Usman?
No, I kind of want to see Leon Edwards get a shot. I mean, he was meant to fight Tyron Woodley, and I believe he would have beat Tyron Woodley. I think he's a very, very well-rounded fighter. I think he's very, very good. Yeah, look, he maybe hasn't got the personality to be that you want as a champion, but he's got the skill set. And I think I'd like to see the fight between Usman and Edwards. I think it'd be very, very interesting. What way does it work down? Does Usman just try grind him out with takedowns and try suffocate him, or does striking distance and utilize kind of the long straights and those snappy little right elbows and the clinch and stuff like that? What way does it work out? And then throw Gilbert Burns and Jorge Masvidal against each other. That's what I'd like to see, because and then the winner of those fights fight each other.
I actually think if they do Edwards versus Usman, which I'd be all about that. I love that fight. I just don't see them going that way. I feel like they do Masvidal versus a Diaz or Masvidal versus someone else. I feel like they won't give Burns Masvidal.
No, they won't. The problem is they're not going to do Usman and Edwards because, to be honest, it won't sell. They're not as much as
they both almost need that one big fight,
Yeah, they do. But as both, like, as much as I hate to say it, personality makes a massive difference in selling fights. I mean, like, if you're a Conor McGregor, you're going to be, or you're like a Sean O'Malley or a John Jones, or you're just an outspoken, you're a guy who speaks a lot, who speaks his mind, he gets people kind of entertained. By the way, he talks as well and sells himself. That's a massive thing. And neither of them guys are really amazing at doing that. But their fighting abilities are top drawer. Like, so I think just for fighting abilities, I want to see that fight because I think it'll be a cracker. It could be potential like fight of the year where the two of them just get stuck into it and then they're banging, and it'd be a great fight. But I just don't think the UFC will do that because it won't sell as much as Usman as Masvidal or.
In terms of
something like
pay-per-view sales, do you reckon if they actually went Usman versus Burns and then like geared up teammate versus teammate, and then you did Masvidal versus Edwards on the same card, the grudge match, the two-piece and the soda, if you did them on the same card, that would actually be the best pay-per-view you could do with those two.
That would be the ideal way of working it, but I think Hard Knocks will try to steer away from having their two guys face each other as much as they possibly can because you don't want your guys fighting each other, and it just puts you both in an awkward position. But they could play it well, and they could pretend to have some beef, and make a little thing out of it, which would make it more interesting for everyone. And I don't know.
Well, like if you look at those two guys, Usman and Burns, they're both managed by Ali Abdulaziz, who also managed Cejudo and Marlon Moraes when they fought each other, and now manages Justin Gaethje and Khabib, and they're going to fight each other. So it's not like Ali Abdulaziz hasn't done this before.
No, and I don't think it's anything to do with Ali. I think it's the gym that needs to decide this. It's the coaches. Your manager's great. That's fine. Having a manager who's probably one of the best managers in the business, if not the best, that's great. But it's your coaches at the end of the day that have to be comfortable with allowing you and your teammate to fight and what way you're going to work. And it's just an awkward situation. But like, I know for a fact that if I was Gilbert Burns, I don't care who you are, how good friends we are. If you're the champion, that's great. But I want to be the champion, and I don't care.
That's obviously we can go on about this for ages, but as right now, who do you think is going to get the next title shot? Because like obviously we have to go into the stuff with John Jones and Dana White, and
I think they're going to try to do Masvidal.
Yeah, I agree.
Masvidal for the title.
Yeah,
I think so. Just purely because of money. Money talks.
Yeah,
and he will sell the most fights. I mean, look, he is interested and he has got the good skill set, but like, I just don't know how you could give a title fight after beating Nate Diaz. But they will try to do it because he's the big star at the moment. So,
and actually, it would just get rid of that BMF title as well. So there's not people really going on that. Because you can't really say Gilbert Burns doesn't fit into that BMF thing. The Bulls there trying to put a spin on it. You know, The Rock wouldn't come out with it and put it on him. Yeah. But lads, obviously, like over the week as well, John Jones and Dana White have a very public fallout over fighter pay. Lads, what exactly did you hear, and what do you actually think of this situation? Ross, you may as well kick it off.
Well, look, apparently John Jones and Dana White are both absolute liars. Not one of them has told the truth from day one. Right? All you hear is from the John Jones camp, Dana White's a liar, and from the Dana White camp, John Jones is a liar. The first I heard about an actual figure was what Dana White said. John Jones was looking for Deontay Wilder money, and that was said to be around 30 million. Apparently, it's John Jones was actually looking for closer to about 10 million guaranteed up front. I don't think that's totally unheard of.
No, I don't think that's ridiculous either. I think that's fair enough.
I think John Jones is going to take a risk. He's going to move up to heavyweight. He's going to fight Francis Ngannou, possibly the most dangerous heavyweight the UFC has ever seen. I've never seen anyone with a bigger depth touch than Ngannou, and he was asked to be compensated for it. UFC, I think, at the moment, because they can't do a live gate with the pay-per-view, they're almost reluctant to make that fight. But there might be a very long time before they can do that. In terms of pay-per-view sales, John Jones has not actually been a great seller for the UFC. In fairness, he averages about 500,000 pay-per-views. It's not a bad number. It's better than most people's numbers. But he's never broke the million. Even when he fought Daniel Cormier for the first or second time, he never broke the 1 million pay-per-view, boys. And I think that's what sort of holds him back from getting that big contract. But again, if you compare it to other sports, you know what I mean, to LeBron James or to, Tiger Woods or whatever, like, John Jones is only getting guaranteed $500,000 a fight. Like, these guys, like, would laugh at that money. And, you know what I mean, UFC needs to be making these guys more a partner than they say they are. When the ESPN deal cuts, the UFC fighters get no piece of that pie. and without the UFC fighters, there is no UFC ESPN deal.
Yeah, don't forget as well though, the fighters do actually sign this contract to get that money as well.
Yeah, true.
Just playing devil's advocate here, you know.
In fairness, when John Jones signed the contract, he probably went, "Fucking hell, brilliant! Look at all that money. Look at those zeros."
Yeah,
100%. I think the biggest thing in it, right? You've signed a contract. That's it. You can't argue. You put pen to paper. When you signed that contract, you agreed that you were going to fight for X amount of fights for X amount of money, and when you signed it, you were okay with that. Now, because you think you deserve more, doesn't mean you deserve more. You have a contract. That's it. Like, just fight your fights and fight the contract out and then renegotiate. But at the moment, like, do I think he's underpaid? Absolutely. But if he needs to be more interesting, if he needs to kind of change things up and fight a bit more aggressively to get more pay-per-views, then that's your problem. But do I think fighters are underpaid in UFC? 100%. But that's the business they're in. And, like, he asked for the fight. He wanted the fight. He was the one who initially put it out there. So why you can't put it out there and use that then and go, oh well, if I'm gonna move up, I'm gonna want more money. I understand why he's asking for it, and does he deserve it? Absolutely. But I think a massive thing for the UFC going forward is the UFC contract with Reebok ends soon. Scrap that, because I said, like, yeah, they're paying him. It's pennies to what someone like John Jones would be getting off Nike when he was sponsored by Nike, and like like that's another thing.
I still can't
like,
believe he was sponsored by Nike. That's crazy.
Yeah, well, like Anderson Silva was sponsored by like Burger King and Budweiser and mad stuff. Like Demetrius Johnson by Xbox.
Yeah, well, he was like the face of like Brazil at one stage.
But this is what I'm trying to say.
Cole
like,
Pendred with Cristal.
So like when you think about it like that, here's another way. If they get rid of the US, not one fighter on that roster cares about Reebok. Oh. They like because it's not like they're going, oh, Reebok look after me. They do this. They're paying me well. Like, fair enough. Like, they're not complaining that Reebok are sending them.
Some people are getting paid well. Like someone like, if you look at someone like Nick Lentz, because he's had so many fights in the UFC, he gets like 20, 25 grand. Rolling out the cash for Nick Lentz.
Yeah, no, neither do I, and I understand that. But that's a different argument. If you're one of the top dogs,
brutal if you're
you're getting paid. Like, how much does John Jones get? Ridiculous. So, I think if they want to get lads, make people like John Jones happier, scrap the Reebok contract and allow fighters to have maximum 3 sponsors on their shorts or on their t-shirts or whatever, because they don't want them looking like a billboard banner. Where that's what the Dana White was saying, like, is we want the kind of like a uniform thing. Like, that's fine, 3 max sponsors and that's it. But that could be the equivalent. John Jones could only need 1. I could pay him probably $1 million for the fight, and he'd be like, right, if I'm getting $1 million for sponsors, that makes it happier. If I fight 5 more times, that's $5 million for just fighting anyway. That'll make it better. And also, it'll also mean John Jones is accountable for all his actions, because he takes outside of the ring or outside the cage or outside the sport, and he goes out and has another problem, he's going to lose a sponsorship deal, and that's his problem. Whereas he's always going to get it with UFC because it's a contract that the UFC and Reebok have made. So he knows he's going to get paid from them regardless, and he doesn't have to really care about what happens outside. And I think if they bring back in sponsorships, it will kind of make fighters just act a bit more kind of respectful, and it'll kind of change their social media presence. It'll change their presence in the cage, because you want to be more exciting because you want to get bigger sponsors. You want to get bigger sponsors, so you want to win more and fight harder and get that money. So I think the UFC is to make a decision now, because their canvas looks like it's just ridiculous. Like, they're sponsor you to P3 protein bars, bringing you John Jones versus Dominic Reyes. And I mean, you're sitting there going, like, there's every 10 seconds, Toyo tires, every 10 seconds is another clip for
John Anik flat out on the mic telling you who's sponsoring what.
Exactly, and that's, they can still do that, but I think if you want to keep the fighters happy and give them a bit more money, let them go and get sponsors. And I agree, yeah, maybe there isn't people like you were saying there, like that aren't up the top level, but that's their problem. That's their fault. They're getting paid by the UFC to fight. They're not getting paid by the UFC to be better marketers or market themselves better. If you want to market yourself better and you want to get more money, go and do it yourself.
That's a very good point, Ian, as well. Like, but, and even some of the fighters do have the monster son and the shorts. But there is one thing: the way the UFC is it looks so clean with everyone wearing the same sort of shorts or like the same sort of brand, which it looks way nicer than the eye than some of the lads fighting in Bellator. So, you know what I mean? But like,
no, I agree with you. I agree. It looks more uniform and it looks better. And I completely agree with that. And there's no argument. But if you want to be the UFC and from a business standpoint, and you want people to be able to go out and say they want more money, because look, if you're a champion, you're getting $500,000 guaranteed, or you're getting, say, maybe $1 million guaranteed a fight. There's a massive difference, like a massive difference. And if you can get that other $500,000 by sponsorship, so maybe John Jones gets sponsored by Nike and they pay him $500,000 for the fight, for the brand advertisement, for the back of his arse, the tick on the back of his arse, which is where it used to be. That's his fault. He went and got that. Now he's happy with that. If he wants more, he can go get more. Do you know what I mean? And if he wants more money from the UFC, he has to step up and fight more aggressively and fight for the fans and entertain more. Can't sit there and try win rounds. You've got to do it right, and that's something that the UFC will have to look at going forward. Do they want to keep the idea of keeping everyone uniform and paying them just what they think you deserve to be fight, or let them go out and get their sponsors and get their money? Because I think there's no harm in letting someone like me, if I'm coming up the ranks and I want to make more money and I want to market myself better, market myself properly, and I could, like, potentially, if I was tomorrow, I could potentially earn more money than some of the lads who have been in the UFC 5 years, because I know my personality is better. So why not allow me to go express that and get my sponsorships and get people on board? Because it's not my fault that fella's born. Do you know what I mean? It's not my fault that fella is carved in stone. So let me go out and market myself and get the money myself, so that if I'm not happy with how much you're willing to pay me, I can go and try kind of bring that in another way.
I like the way you said that people should be held more accountable. Ross, what are your thoughts?
I actually think UFC should sign a new uniform deal with someone. Everyone is wearing some form of, similar branded shorts. I like the way Reebok now have, like, they sort of have the tight pants. They have like the sort of Muay Thai pants. They have almost like the wrestler pants. They have the different sort of version of shorts. And I do think that is good in uniformity. But I think more fighters should be able to get more sponsors on their shorts. Mm-hmm. And if UFC have a deal with Monster, why don't they just put Monster on all the shorts? Yeah. You know what I mean? And then if they want to have what's called 2 to 3 sponsors, you can have sort of either thigh and your arse sponsored.
Yeah.
But UFC has to approve the sponsors. You know what I mean? Like how, like, some of them walking out with, like, Babe Station tattooed in their arse. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So Ross, you're saying basically that Monster should almost come out with a default brand of shorts and then send them all out to the fighters, because everyone knows what size they're going to be. And then, so that's actually a great idea, right?
That's a great show. If you were to think about if UFC could come to an agreement with, say, Reebok, and say Reebok were big sponsor on the front of your shorts, right on your left leg or something, which is normally your front leg, because 90% of the fighters are orthodox. You've got that big Reebok sign, maybe Reebok across your arse or something, or whatever it may be. But you get to pick 3 sponsors. So you only need 3 sponsors. And they can pay you however much they want to be branded on your top and t-shirt. But they will be whatever size Reebok decide they are going to be on the thing, and whatever they do. That could be another way to work around. But do I see that happening? No, because business is business and companies only want to brand themselves. And why would Reebok allow someone to go out and market, I don't know, an energy drink or something like that, unless they've no choice. They just sit there and go, no. So
alternatively, what they could do is UFC could actually just create their own brand of clothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, you know what I mean? UFC, and then they could put whichever sponsor they want on the shorts each fight, because everyone gets a new pair of shorts every fight. and it could be UFC, and it could have, Monster might pay for the first 6 months, so you have Monster on your shorts for the first 6 months, and then you can have whatever is signing, and then like UFC can just put in the contract, you can't have another energy drink as a sponsor because Monster are sponsoring this, so you can't have energy on one, or you can't have like Lucozade on the other.
And that's a very good point, because it's not like the UFC lack
Aldi and Loyal on both sides.
It's not like the UFC lack money to go out. They have a deal with Reebok, but they could easily go out and start up their own clothing line and then sell it on their store and sell it on UFC.com and stuff like that as the unbranded kind of UFC shorts. Like, these are the shorts that people use in the UFC, but we've got Reebok and your sponsors on it. And they could do that. And I think that I've never thought about that. That's a very good idea. And it would bring more money into the UFC if they did it that way. And I'd imagine it'd be cheaper because they'd be going at net cost. They'd be going at, like, if you're buying all these tracksuits and shorts and all in bulk, and you've got sizes, and then all you have to do is get the logos printed on them and stuff.
And you know what? I think they should bring the banner back, but the banner should also be like, it should almost be like your UFC profile or something, if you know what I mean. Yeah. And like, it should be like, picture of Ian Garry here, Ian Garry with his record here, and then in the bottom left-hand corner, you can have like your sponsor. Yeah, I know. Yeah, but I'm saying, hey, you can get your sponsors there as well.
I feel like the fact you're not allowed to have a banner is a bit ridiculous. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're not fighting on it. Like, it's there for what, a minute?
Yeah, less probably.
I think it's maybe because people might like hide something on it, and then they're like, "Holy shit, how to do it?" Memory Man came out to the octagon before wearing like tighty whities, as one would call it.
Oh, Dennis Hallman.
But that's ridiculous. Like that.
I know, but that fella. Yeah.
But like, for me,
he deserved a title shot after that. But
like for me with Cage Warriors, I have to send an email with my sponsors on it. So for my fight gear, if I have any sponsors on my t-shirt, I have to send them my t-shirt design, and I have to send them my banner design, so they can approve all the sponsors. And if they were to turn around and say, like, they have an Apex fight where and I was to maybe rival another kind of company for them, they'll turn around and go, "No, you can't have that on. That has to be removed." And that's they're in charge, you know what I mean? So that but that's how you can go about it. Look, it's interesting and something to look at going forward. And how are they gonna do it?
Like, the UFC have actually gotten better with the clothes. They've come out more recently than ever. So from just to end their contract next year with just a full stop will be a bit strange, because they've almost mastered it. Like the way they do the khaki shorts and stuff as well. I say they sell loads of them.
I do wonder, does Conor McGregor's deal end the same time the UFC's Reebok deal ends as well?
Let's see if Ian rocks proper 12 on his debut. But lads, like,
if he paid me enough, I'd do it. Wouldn't care less.
There we go. No, I'm sure he'll start like investing in the Irish going in, like 100%.
Sure, he's talking Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury too.
Yeah, lads. Yeah. Also, this weekend it is UFC 250. As much
finally,
I know. Yeah, I was like
2 hours later.
No, when you lads are talking away, I'm like, yeah, let it happen, Right, so UFC 250 is on this weekend. Amanda Nunes, the champion, is taking on Felicia Spencer in the featherweight division. It's being kicked off in the early prelims. With the main event on that card is Jussier Formiga taking on Alex Perez. Lads, you guys want to talk about this, but also I just want to shout out Alonzo Moinfeld's taking on Devin Clark, and the whole night is being started by Evan Dunham against Herbert Burns. Gilbert Burns' brother, says Ian Garry. But lads, Jussier Formiga is taking on Alex Perez in the flyweight division.
I almost think the flyweight division, you have to ask the question, what do you care less about? The women's featherweight division or the men's flyweight division?
Man, don't start being a sexist today, man. Come on.
Right, because like,
I'm both divisions. I'm not getting involved.
But both divisions almost don't exist at this stage. You almost have to just say, I'm UFC flyweight, and you get in the rankings these days. Look, Joseph Benavidez is going to rematch against Davison Figueroa on Fight Island at some stage for the flyweight title. This could be a number one contender match. Jussier Formiga has lost last two. I think he lost last one to Brandon Moreno, but he's one of the best flyweights of all time. Alex Perez, I think he's like 22-2. These are two of the top flyweights we have. If I was to pick, I'm going to pick Jussier Formiga. I just think his grappling is a different level, and I think he's like one of those. He's like a backpack. You know what I mean? Once he gets on your back, like he's there for the round, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think you've touched on everything kind of we need to say. I think I'm not getting involved in any of the politics to do with divisions or anything like that. I'm not getting into that, but I do. I think it's just a great fight. I think it's interesting. It'll be a nice kind of way to see how they're going to react to the flyweight division kind of being vacant. Does it make both of them a little bit hungry to get that title, knowing that Henry Cejudo isn't the champ? But we don't know. We'll look to find out. But I'd probably pick Formiga myself now.
I'll go for Formiga on that one as well, lads. Alonso Moinfeld against Devin Clark. Who would you go for that one?
I like Alonso Moinfeld. I think Devin Clark's a good wrestler, but I think Moinfeld has a bit more power on the feet.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll agree with that as well. It's because I know him more than Devin Clark. And then Evan Dunham against Herbert Burns.
This is a big step up in competition for Herbert Burns. Like, Evan Dunham was an absolute vet, but Herbert Burns beat that guy who recently beat Darren Elkins in his last fight. So I'm going to pick Herbert Burns. He's on the rise, and after seeing his brother beat Tyron Woodley there last weekend, he must be absolutely pumped going into this. So got to stick on the Burns train.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same train. I'm kind of on the same idea as you. It's a massive step up in competition, and it's not going to be easy whatsoever. And do I see Dunham causing him problems? Absolutely. But can he go in there and just be a wizard and just take him down and sub him? Absolutely. So I'm going to just go with Burns because I'm always a believer, and I want to see the people with the hype and the people who are the up and comers do well. And I think he's a lot to prove, so he's going to want to go out there and prove it to people. And having his brother there as a kind of the next in line for the title shot, he'll want to be up there with him and have his name up there as well as his brother, so that they can be on the same level. So I'm going to go Burns as well. So I think we're all the exact same, are we, for the early prelims?
Yeah.
Yeah, get your money down there quick.
Yeah, there we go.
Well, that means I can't lose then anyway. If we're all in the same, so that's all.
We're all in the same boat as of now. So we're all going to get them wrong in the first three. In the prelims, lads, Alex Caceres, Bruce Leroy is taking on Chase Hooper, aka Ben Askren's son. That's headline. Ian Heinisch is taking on Gerald Mearskart. Cody Statman is taking on Brian Keller. Cody Statman's brother actually just passed away there last week, so he says he's fighting for him. And Charles Bird is taking on Makai Pitolo. Lads, we may as well start in the main event. Alex Caceres against Chase Hooper. Who is back in this one?
Lads, I don't know if you guys know this, but Chase Hooper, the guy who looks like he's about 14, has a higher finish rate than Francis Ngannou. I'm picking Chase Hooper for the win. I think he'll get the job done, and I think he'll get the job done by TKO strikes. Alex Caceres is always a fun fight. He throws mad spinning shit. He's not called Bruce Leroy for nothing. But I think Chase Hooper is one to watch out for.
Yeah, I'm going with Hooper as well. And the reason I'm going with Hooper as well is because, Alex Caceres is a good fighter. He's 15-12. So he's beatable.
Who's that, Artem?
He was meant to fight Artem.
I'm not getting involved. Jesus. I think the UFC are doing this to put him in there against an experienced opponent, so we can go in there and fight him and beat him and earn his kind of way and slowly build him up, like what the way cage wars do with fighters. They build him up towards the belt because they know that's the right way, and they know Chase Hooper's young. They don't want to throw him in the deep end straight away. They want to just kind of slowly bring him up to that level. And the kid's cool. Do you know what I mean? He has good banter off him. Exactly. So I want to see him do well, and I think he's meant to be one of these wizards of jiu-jitsu. So let's see, does he go in and do what he said? He's 7-0 and 1. So look, I want to see the kid do well, and I hope he goes in and gets the finish, and I do think he'll get it done against a very beatable opponent. So the problem is he doesn't look great on the feet, so he has to take the fight early. So he could get clipped by anybody on the feet early, because trying to take someone down isn't easy. But I'm going to go with him to get a submission win this time.
I'll go with Chase Hooper as well, lads. Shout out to Ian Heinisch. He follows the show as well. He's taking on Gerald Mearskart. Lads, who are you picking for this?
I don't know if it's bad or not, but I actually think I'm picking against Ian. I actually quite like Mearskart, or Gerald as we'll call him, make it easier. He's really good with a few cheeky subs. He's got a very good guillotine and rear naked choke, and I reckon he might be able to get that done against poor Ian, you know. He has lost once by submission before in an arm triangle, so he's been choked out before, so I think it might get caught again.
I'm going to go with Ian Heinisch. I think he's going to go in there and dog it out and get a 3-round decision. That's the way I see it happening.
I'll go with Ian as well, just because Ross is the traitor to Ian, you know, poor Ian, you know.
Yeah. This is going to be where me and you take over now, and we take the win for this, because he's gonna lose this bet.
Then Cody Statman's taking on Brian Keller in the featherweight division. As I said earlier, Cody Statman's brother died there last week. He says he's going to go out and win this for him. Lads, what are you expecting here?
Yeah, well, Cody Statman, he's got an unusual record in the UFC. He's like 4-1-1. His last fight was a draw to Song Yadong, our mate. Brian Keller has come fresh off a win against Hunter Azure. He actually fought in the Anthony Smith Glover Teixeira card, which was like 2-3 weeks ago. So if they both had a full training camp, I'd probably pick Statman. And I think Statman's been in training for this fight for a while now, so I'm gonna go with Statman. I think he'll go out there. He's got a point to prove, and I actually think he is one of the sort of upper echelon guys in the UFC.
Do you?
Yeah, so I think I'm gonna go. Actually, I know his brother died, so that is a massive thing just on the mental aspect of it. And it's either gonna work exceptionally well for him, or it's gonna be what gets him beat. But I think it's gonna be. I'm gonna go with Cody Statman. I think he's gonna go in there and he's gonna have a different drive. With everything that's going on, I think he's going to want to go in there and push and make his brother proud and do it for him. And I know I would if that was my situation. I'd want to go in there and fight to the death. So I also think Brian Keller gets hit a lot. So I think it's going to be a decision again. I think it's going to be a 3-round decision going towards Cody Statman. And that's my pick.
Obviously, I'd rather pick Cody Statman for some reason. I'm going with Brian Keller. But I do agree. I think we'll go to decision. Then that's where Ian just pulls off ahead again. I should have just copied everything Ian said, and then I'm joking. The last one, Charles Bird taking on Maki Pitolo. What are you expecting?
Charles Bird's had a rough UFC tenure. He fought Stewart recently, and he lost by knockout. And then he fought Edmund Chabizian, who's like possibly the biggest prospect the middleweight division has in at UFC at the moment. Again, I think these guys could almost been the card opener, to be honest. They could have started off the night. I don't know a hell of a lot much against how to say Pitoli.
Yeah.
Pitolo.
Sorry.
Pitolo. So I'm gonna go for Charles Bird just because I've seen him, and I think I looked at Pitolo's record and it was like 12-5. So he sort of wins 2. 11-5, so he sort of wins 2 and loses 1. So I'm going to go for Charles Bird.
If I was a betting man, I wouldn't bet on this fight because I don't know much about them. But
yeah,
it's like picking in the dark, isn't it?
Yeah, we're here playing the game, you know.
Yeah, see, just because I'm a winner, I'm not going to pick because I don't know who's going to win, and I don't want to lose to you guys. So I don't know. I think
I'm going for the draw.
No, it's not going to be a draw. I think Charles Bird will probably win it. Yeah, again, I don't know if it's going to be a finish. I don't know too much about the guys, so that's maybe just me needed to do a bit more research on them. But I've heard of Charles Bird and I've seen him fight, so I'm just going to go with him just purely because I know him. But that may be the ending for me now. I may eat my words.
Yeah, so I'm going to go for Bird as well. Right, lads, in the main event.
I can't lose then.
Yeah. Lads, in the main event of the night, Amanda Nunes is taking on Felicia Spencer. Also on the card, Rafael Sunso, Cody Garr versus Cody Garbrandt, Aljamain Sterling versus Corey Sandhagen, Neil Magny versus Anthony Rocco Martin, and Eddie Wineland against Sean O'Malley. So, the main card is actually pretty good. You know what I mean?
A bit of a bantamweight bonanza.
Yeah, on this, what would you give it a rating just by the looks of it?
I'll give it an 8 out of 10. For me as a fan who loves the sport, right, that's 8 out of 10. That's got Garbrandt, Sunso, Sean O'Malley, who I think everyone's excited to see. It's funny enough that a Sunso and Garbrandt at the co-main event, but Sandhagen and Sterling are basically fighting for the number one contendership. Neil Magny's always game for a fight. So is Anthony Rocco Martin. And Amanda Nunes is the absolute women's goat. So, like, it doesn't get much better than that.
Yeah, I'll give it for an 8 as well. What about you?
I'd give it a 7 out of 10. And the
I thought you
reason
were going to say 5.
No, the reason I'd say 7 out of 10 is due to Magny and Rocco Martin. I think if they change that fight, and maybe Eddie Wineland, if they change those 3 people, and maybe like you had a top level kind of middleweight contender fight, like say for example, there, like they just, I don't know. I think with the lockdown and all, I think they could have just put a better.
Like, it is sort of the situation that it's in.
100%. And I'm not arguing that, but I think if they had to put like, if this card would be a 10 out of 10 if they had to put like Jack Hermanson and Gastelum. That if that had been on this card, this would be a 10 out of 10.
Well, that'll be a paper. That'll be almost a main event because like next week.
But that's what I mean.
Next week's main event is Oi versus Calvillo, which isn't.
Yeah, no, it's not. I'm not even gonna watch that. So.
Oh, man, harsh.
No, it's not.
Oh, very sexist. Very sexist, man. Very sexist.
Look, I have to say it wasn't sexist.
Not a chance.
Right, we're about to
tragic. Back in a sec.
Okay, that's all right. Well, I'll do the first one while Ian's gone together.
Okay, so we may as well kick it off with Eddie Wineland is taking on Sean O'Malley in the bantamweight division. Ross, Sean O'Malley, your best mate now, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Sean O'Malley, Energized alumni. What an absolute legend. Look, this is actually the perfect fight for Sean O'Malley to kick up into the upper echelon. A lot of people probably won't know this, but Eddie Wineland actually once fought for the UFC bantamweight title. He's got great wins on his resume. He's got Takeya Mizugaki, who I actually think retired there yesterday. Brad Pickett, Scott Jorgensen. He's got a few good wins on his resume. He is an absolute veteran of the game. He's got great boxing. And Sean O'Malley is, probably the UFC's biggest rising superstar.
For people that aren't aware of Sean O'Malley here, tell us why they should definitely not miss this fight.
Sean O'Malley is undefeated. He first came to promise on UFC Dana White's Contender Series, and he's got so much like finesse and flair. He throws all sorts of strikes, spinning and everything, and he's just like the ultimate personality. Him and Snoop Dogg are best mates now. He's got like his own strain of weed. Sean O'Malley is like everything the UFC is looking for and more. Also, his hair for this week is like multicolored. It's something like a clown or the Joker. I don't really know, but it's
Takeshi 6ix9ine, man.
Yeah,
I don't like that fella. So like, I'm not giving him a shout out on the show. No, rats out.
Jesus, man.
Yeah, so I like Sean O'Malley. I think he'll get the win here. I think it'll be a decision win for Sean O'Malley.
Okay,
there's not a chance I'm looking past Sean O'Malley here. I think it's going to be a KO.
Ian, when you see Sean fighting, what do you think? What do you think of his the way he fights?
I think he's very, very good. I think he's very determined. You can see his mindset is very. It's very easy to see what way his mind is working. He thinks he's the best. He knows he's the best. He's going to go out and prove it, and nothing's going to stop him. He's a great personality. Which the UFC are going to want to expose and get a push out there, because the bigger the star he becomes, and the more fights he wins, the bigger it's going to come, the better it's going to do for the company. So I think the company are also going to give him a little bit of leeway and give him maybe a little bit of an easier fight, like with Eddie Wineland, like someone who's a good fighter but beatable for someone like Sean O'Malley. And I think that's what they're doing. And to be honest, that's business. Do you know what I mean? They're going to want to build this kid up and have him be the next Conor McGregor or the next Jorge Masvidal or Israel Adesanya. And he very well could be that type of personality. And I think his fighting style is very good. His counter punching is very good. He's got a great flow to him when he fights. His shot selection is very interesting. And he's been saying he wants to show people his ground game, and he wants to show people that he's not just a striker, and he can do more than just knock people out. But he hasn't needed it at the moment, and it's going to be interesting to see him go forward and see what happens. But I think Sean O'Malley's going to knock him out. I've yet to decide which round, but I think it's going to be a knockout. If I was asking me now, I'd say I'll knock him out in 2.
there's something about when like certain people walk into the octagon that are very polarized, and Sean O'Malley is definitely one of them. Like I'm obviously going to back Sean O'Malley as well because he's Ross's best friend, you know. Like, but I don't know what way to call it. It could be third round
It's
stuff.
a hard one to call.
Yeah, it is.
In fairness,
I'm not a master at picking around. It's more like or picking the winner, but
yeah.
I sort of I'm left or right, you know.
Just for people who are watching this, like UFC, when this fight comes out, like they're going to resell Sean O'Malley, but Eddie Wineland has more knockout wins than Sean O'Malley has fights, so he's very dangerous with his hands. I just don't think he's as diverse enough with the feet, so I think that's where Sean O'Malley gets the job done. His kicking range is very impressive,
and it's nothing to do with his kicking range. I think for me, I think it's going to be his hands. I think Wineland being that guy who goes, I'm tougher than this kid. I'm going to stand there. I'm going to show this kid that I'm going to knock him out. That's going to be his kryptonite, where he's going to get crippled by, because Sean O'Malley hits hard and he's fast
and his reach.
And he can see gaps that maybe most fighters wouldn't see because he's a little bit faster and he has that kind of deft touch. So I think if that's Wineland's idea, Wineland's getting sparked, and I think if that is his idea and he's going to stand there right in front of him, I'm taking my idea at round 2 and I'm changing it to round 1.
Yeah. Well, we actually had him on the show. Like when we had him on the show beforehand, I was like, Ross, this one's going to be fucking massive. And then, like at the very beginning, Ross started speaking over him and all. But we were about when we were watching him doing the interview, I was sort of like, how the fuck did we go from like doing shows and Ross's ringing onto a phone to like
with Ian Garry to Sean O'Malley?
No, like you've obviously sat with us before, so and we're obviously mates now. But like with Sean O'Malley, it's like. This is like Conor McGregor on the super. Yeah. Remember the people are always messaging me here, lads, well done, the hardest working lads in the game, this, that, and the other. I was just like, fucking hell, it's gas what you can do with just sending a few emails, you know?
In my defense, right, my internet was lagging, so when I spoke over him, I couldn't actually hear him speaking.
But Ross, that was the most fanboy you've been in any of the shows.
Okay.
Couldn't wait.
Oh my god, it's Sugar Sean O'Malley. Oh my god, hi.
Oh
yeah, I'm just a big sap lads, right?
yeah, man. Very man. What he was with. Yeah, but lads, Neil Magny is taking on Anthony Rocco Martin. What do you expect from this one?
Neil Magny almost goes under the radar. He might have one of the best gas tanks in the UFC, whether it's short notice or whatever. He always shows up in fight shape. He's got some really big wins in his career. He's beat Kelvin Gastelum. He's beat Johnny Hendricks. He's beat Carlos Condit. Anthony Rocco Martin. When I saw Tony Martin first time out, I was like, this fella's got something about him. He looks very, very good, but he hasn't managed to sort of, get that big win yet in his resume. He fought Damian Maia. He lost to him. He's beat Jake Matthews, Sergio Moraes. But I don't know whether he could beat Neil Magny. Neil Magny's quite long. He's like a gazelle almost. And I think Neil Magny will get the decision on this one. He's like the what's that person called? The gatekeeper for the welterweight division.
Gatekeeper.
Yeah.
No, he very much so is, and I think if Rocco Martin can come in and upset at that sets him up well for his next fight of going in and get a top 10 guy. Don't know if I see it happen. I do think I agree with you. I think it's going to be a Neil Magny decision. I think Rocco Martin's best chance is maybe just catch a.
Okay, so Ross, Neil Magny against Rocky Martin. Who are you going for?
Rocco Martin, not Ricky Martin, but
so Rocky.
I'm going to go for Neil Magny. I think he's got a fantastic gas tank. He's good on the ground. I think Rocco Martin might have the edge there, but I think overall Neil Magny's better fighter, and I don't see Rocco Martin breaking into the top 10 in the welterweight division.
Yep, completely agree. I think Magny's just going to piece him up. I think he's going to play it smart. He's not going to look to engage in anything too crazy. He's just going to piece him up on the outside, utilize his gas tank, and try to tire Rocco Martin out. And I think it'll be a 3-round decision, a decision win to Magny. And yeah, that's the way I see it going. I think Rocco Martin has a chance if Magny maybe closes the distance to jump on something, but that's his only way. So if I was a betting man, Neil Magny's my guy.
Yeah, I'll go with Neil Magny as well. Then, lads, in what is being touted as the like the number one contender spot. Aljamain Sterling is taking on Corey Sandhagen in the bantamweight division. Ross, first of all, why is this behind Rafael Assunção versus Cody Garbrandt? If this is,
I think it's because Cody Garbrandt's very, very handsome, and he looks better to promote. Also, he was a former champion, and none of the other three bantamweights have ever fought for the belt. So, look, these two are fighting for the number one contendership. People almost might say that Aljamain Sterling was hard done by not being fighting Peter Yan for the bantamweight title in the first place. In terms of Aljamain Sterling, he's won his last 4 fights. He beat Brett Johns very convincingly. He beat Cody Statman, Jimmy Rivera, and then Pedro Munoz. All sort of, floating in between 10 and 15 in the UFC bantamweight division. And then you look on the other side of things, you look at Corey Sandhagen, and he beat Rafael Assunção and John Lineker in his last 2 fights. I really like Corey Sandhagen. I think he has looked phenomenal in those last 2 fights. And on top of that, he's like vicious with the ground and pound, and he's much better on the feet than I think Aljo. I think Aljo is brilliant at jiu-jitsu, and he's a brilliant grappler, but he's dodgy and ropey looking on the feet, I think. So I'm going to go Corey Sandhagen, TKO, round 3.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah, so I think it's a great fight. Again, yeah, the only reason it's not above Assunção and Garbrandt is because Garbrandt's a bigger name and he's more marketable at the moment. I think this is a great fight, and I don't think this fight should have happened. I think it should have been Sterling versus Peter Yan for the belt. That only makes sense. I don't know where Aldo came from for the belt, but it is what
obviously
it is.
When you lose to Marlon Moraes, you get the title shot, obviously.
I know.
How did you not know that?
I don't get it, but I think the fact that I think Sandhagen's going to do it. I think Sandhagen he's a long, lanky build for the division. He's 12-1. He's a great prospect. He's boxing's very clean. The striking it's very good. I think he'll take advantage of it, and I want to say it's going to be a finish, but I could see this going 3 rounds, and I could see it being 2-1. I think Aljamain Sterling will probably have to come out and go guns blazing in 1 round, because I think Sandhagen will win 1. Aljamain Sterling might take 2, and then it'll be a toss-up for who takes round 3. But I think if I was to choose, I'd be Corey Sandhagen, and I think it'd be by decision, or as you said, a possible 3rd round finish. But I don't think either of these guys are going to give up unless they don't have a physical choice that their body is left unconscious on the floor. So,
Basmo, you give us a pick.
Yeah, I'm going for Corey Sandhagen as well. I think it could be by stoppage in the 3rd round. I thought he just looks like he's the next person that's going to really take on that title. Then, lads, in the co-main event, Rafael Assunção is taking on Cody Garbrandt in the bantamweight division. Like, neither lad is coming off anything seriously impressive. Cody Garbrandt's coming off 3 knockout losses as well. If you saw in the build-up to this as well, he's actually after growing his beard out a lot more, maybe to protect the chin, who knows. Ross, what are you expecting from this? Because this is probably Cody Garbrandt's biggest fight of his career.
Cody Garbrandt had, in 2016, the most impressive year in MMA history. He went from unranked to UFC champion. And ever since that, it's been all downhill. He's lost to Dillashaw, he lost to Pedro Munoz, obviously lost to Dillashaw twice, but I just think for Cody Garbrandt, he needs to go back to the fighter that beat Dominic Cruz. He needs to show that incredible boxing, fantastic footwork, and he needs to not get emotionally involved in the fight and, bring the brawl out. Because when he brings the brawl out, he gets less technical and he gets caught with stuff. Rafael Assunção, I actually think, is the best UFC fighter in the history of the UFC to have never fought for a title. Assunção, I don't think, has been ranked outside that top 5 in the UFC in a very long time. I know he is now, the first time in a long time, but he's never fought for the title. He's absolutely incredible. I think at one stage he put together an 8-fight win streak, and he still never got a title shot. I think he fought TJ Dillashaw and lost a decision there that some people thought he won. At one stage, hold on, let me count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He was 7-0, lost
I
Dillashaw,
thought
and
he
then
beat.
was next 4.
I thought he beat Dillashaw. But
He did back in the day, but when at UFC 200 he lost to him. But at one stage he went 11-1 in the bantamweight division and still didn't get a title shot. So like,
It's ridiculous.
It's incredible to say. He's an absolute workhorse, and he's bar his loss to Marlon Moraes, who he actually also beat by TKO. I don't think anyone's ever like dominated him in a fight.
And
I think Rafael Assunção is going to win this fight by TKO in the second round.
Dear. I really don't know what to think about this.
This is probably one of the most interesting ones. Like, I mean,
yeah, but
although I'm dying for Garbrandt to win because like I'd love to see Garbrandt back at the top.
I want to see Garbrandt. I want to see the Garbrandt that fought Dominic Cruz back. I think that Garbrandt was insane, and I don't know. Is he still? Is he the fighter that we all think he was against Dominic Cruz? I don't know. Do I want to hope that he's coming back in like that? Yes. If I'm thinking he comes back in with even 3/4 of what he was. I think he could do well as a champion, but yeah, I'm not too convinced on the decision, to be honest.
Cosmo?
So overall, who are you going for, Ian?
I'm going for Garbrandt, and I think he'll probably clip him I think he might get a little knockout, but I'm not overly sold by the idea of it. So
yeah, like this is the one I was sort of like on the fence about, but I am gonna go for Assunção just because for the last event I was like, right, Tyron Woodley, hopefully he comes back, and it didn't happen, and then 3 knockouts in a row, like, you know, like it's
but there's a difference between the Tyron Woodley fight, because is Assunção not coming off a loss as well?
I know, but like.
Whereas Gilbert Burns is on a 5-fight win streak in 6 months.
I know.
So I know. A big difference.
I just don't think Cody Garbrandt has it in the chin anymore. Like, you know,
very well could be, and that's why I'm not really too sold on mine either. But I want it more than I think it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, exactly. That's like, I mean, it'd be amazing the amount of people that would love to tune in for Cody Garbrandt going around with the title, and like, it, you know, I mean, it would only help everyone's interest. But for some, like, I like, obviously, as Ross said, I'd rather Cody won, but I just can't see it happen. Also, he's changed camps and stuff as well now, so who knows? But who really knows?
I'd love to see a Cody Garbrandt versus Jose Aldo. That'd be a scrap.
Yeah. Or I'd like to see Petr Yan, because like that'd be great on the feet as well.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen though until whoever wins between Sandhagen and Sterling is getting that shot next.
No, absolutely.
The belt. So I think.
But maybe if Petr Yan lost and a Cody Garbrandt win could set that fight up.
Possibly, yeah, and it's a nice one. But I'd love to see him and Aldo. I think that'd be a great fight.
What about, lads, if the Aljamain Sterling Corey Sandhagen just goes to decision and then Cody Garbrandt comes out with a massive knockout in the first round? You never know. Like, Dana could just be like, right, he's next.
Yeah, possible, but debatable. Like, I mean,
I think the Sandhagen Sterling fight would always have to be like a split decision, and then like people thought one more person won, the other person thought the other person won, for anyone to sneak in.
I don't think it's possible for Sandhagen and Sterling to be a boring fight, regardless.
Yeah, no, you're
but I think it could be a split decision though, like you said, Ian. I think one person could get one round, the other round.
Well, if it is a case of where it becomes like a unanimous decision 2-1, then it's still not going to be a boring fight. Like, it's not going to be where both guys sit back because they don't want to engage. Sandhagen gets stuck in, Sterling gets stuck in. They're going to both go for it because both of them know they win this fight, they're fighting for the belt. So it's interesting, but I think the bantamweights are they're in a nice little spot at the moment because no one's in charge of it anymore. They all kind of have free reign, so a win sets them all up to kind of have a claim for the title or have a shout. Like, Cody Garbrandt wins, he can easily call for that title. He'd be like, look, I've had my ways. I think he needs 2 wins to get back to it, but it's the possibility, you know. Stranger things have happened, you know. Aldo just come off a loss and was fighting for the title. So,
Fairness, if I was Cody Garbrandt and I went in and won impressively, I'd stay healthy because you know Aldo's pulled out of fights before. Jan might struggle to get Jan over to America. You know what I mean? So they might just go. There you go. Cody Garbrandt is in.
Yeah.
Do you think actually in possibility, this is a complete side venture, but do you think UFC could actually potentially do an event in Europe in an empty stadium with like just for the European fighters to fight it?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Yeah, I wonder is that a possibility as well.
I said it to Chris the other day. I said I think there's something going on. That's what I said to him. I don't know if there is. I said I wouldn't be surprised there is something going on to keep the likes of Leon Edwards and
Darren Till.
Darren Till and Jack Shore and Molly McCann and Nathaniel Wood. Like, they're all big stars, like, in the UK and Ireland and then across Europe. I think he'd be stupid not to kind of...
It's not on Fight Island for now, or is this totally separate to Fight Island?
I'd imagine it'd be on Fight Island. That's what I'd imagine it'd be on. But I could imagine they could put a card on in like a London event behind closed doors and make kind of a European stage. But the only problem is then again the Americans flying over and so I don't know. I think it'll be a Fight Island and Dana will fly them all out and it'll be sorted and then that'll be it.
I think we have one place left to go.
Yeah, and the main
Bruce
event,
Buffer, get your shoe on.
In the main event, Amanda Nunes is taking on Felicia Spencer. Lads, is anyone here going against Amanda Nunes?
I am not going against Amanda Nunes, but I think the fight will be slightly more competitive than people think. Felicia Spencer is like she's a big girl. She's like a tough cookie. You know what I mean?
So is Cyborg.
So is Cyborg, but I think she's a different type of tough cookie. I think she's more she's a bit more grind in her than Cyborg does. But like Amanda Nunes, the absolute women's goat. Like, she's beaten anyone who's ever held a belt in the UFC, bar the strawweight. She's beaten them. She's beaten Valentina Shevchenko, Doreen Randami, Misha Tate, Ronda Rousey, Holly Holm, Chris Cyborg. You name them. If they've stepped in the cage with Amanda Nunes, they haven't walked out the better. She is absolute phenom. UFC have done a semi-decent job in actually building Felicia Spencer up to be a credible contender. She'll become the first person in UFC history to defend 2 belts at 2 different weight classes. She is one of the GOATs in MMA history, regardless of gender.
Also, she's about to become a mother. See that? Nina Ansaroff is pregnant.
Yes, Ian.
Did Daniel Cormier not defend both belts?
I'm not sure if did he defend the heavyweight?
Yeah, Derek Lewis.
Okay, maybe he did then. Oh, he defended against Don, didn't he?
And then Henry Cejudo done it. I think she's the first. I think she's a part of 3 people to defend them. Her, Henry Cejudo, and Daniel Cormier are the only 3 people. If Daniel Cormier, I don't think did it simultaneously. I think he did it. I
don't think he held both belts. I think he gave up one of the belts, didn't he?
Yes, because they wanted to push the division on, and then Jones came back. However, he did win and was still technically the champion. But I think Henry Cejudo had it as well, and Henry done it. So I think she's the 3rd person to do it, the first female to ever do it.
No, the Henry not.
I get you. I think Henry vacated his flyweight belt though before he defended his bantamweight.
Yeah,
but did he not?
Yeah,
Henry wasn't the flyweight champion when he fought Dominic Cruz. He vacated it already.
Yeah.
So Amanda Nunes will be the first person to hold both belts and get the job done.
Okay, but did he not beat Dillashaw? Beat Dillashaw?
Yeah, he defended his flyweight belt against Dillashaw, and then he won the vacant belt against Moraes. But when he defended against Cruz, he wasn't the flyweight champ anymore.
Okay, fair enough.
I think it's just hard to comprehend that because there's still no flyweight champion. He was still the last flyweight champion.
Yeah,
that's fair enough. Well, then
the man's retired and there's still no one holding either. He's still the king of both weight classes.
I could be wrong, and you could be wrong.
Well, I keep laughing at the last video we put out, and we put the IGTV video, And Ian, you're like, can we all just agree Henry Cejudo is the cringiest person in MMA? And like, anytime I see you saying that, I just break my shit laughing.
He is though, like I love it, but like it is
Yeah,
true. Like,
he's going to be an AEW wrestler now. He showed up with Mike Tyson.
Yeah,
that's his plan. But here, look, I think Amanda Nunes. I'm going to say second round TKO, but I think Spencer will hold her own for about 2 minutes, which is, I think, more than what people are expecting.
2 minutes. I'm going to go Amanda Nunes, first round KO.
I'll go first round stoppage as well.
I just think she's come up against far greater opposition, and she's blasted them all out of the water. I don't think Felicia Spencer is even in the same ballpark as the likes of Holly Holm and Ronda Rousey and Chris Cyborg and Valentina Shevchenko. She's not in the same.
Well, in fairness, she beat Megan Anderson by rear naked choke, and she was the Invicta featherweight champion, and like she went the distance with Cyborg, so like she is tough.
No, Sean, there's no debate now. I just think when you look at the people Amanda Nunes has fought and put away and so convincingly, she's not in the same ballpark as those girls. So I think she's coming in here obviously as a massive underdog, and she even takes a round, fair play to her. But I see Amanda Nunes steamrolling in the first. But I tell you what. She was lucky to get out of that Valentina Shevchenko fight with the win. She's a different breed, that woman is.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I feel like if Shevchenko was maybe 2 inches taller, I feel like she'd have her. You know that. I feel like if she's 2 inches taller and that bit stockier, she'd be able to have her.
I just don't think she's as big, and that's the decision. I think Valentina Shevchenko, pound for pound, is one of the most amazing kind of strikers, like the shot selection, and I think she's brilliant. Like I think men, women, whatever it is, just she's brilliant. So I think she's just unlucky that Amanda Nunes is there, and she's an absolute monster. But
do you think that's the fight next though for Amanda Nunes? Because I actually think it is. I think it's like champion versus champion at 135.
Part
135,
yeah.
Part 3?
Yeah.
Part 3, yeah. Well, like, in fairness, I sort of look at it going, who's she going to fight at bantamweight, and then who's Valentina Shevchenko going to fight at flyweight? You know what I mean? There's not really anyone for those two to fight.
No, I don't know. I think those two are kind of.
In fairness, I watched them fight 4 times. You know what I mean? Like they could fight and then rematch again.
Yeah,
I'll be all about it.
Great.
Yeah, that could be a good one. That could be a good one for Amanda Nunes then to retire, because she was talking about that flirting with it and like having the kid. You know, so maybe. That could that would really that would cement it.
In fairness, should Nina Ansaroff not have their kid now? Man Nunes. Oh well, then that's right. Because I was like, out of the two of them who are both fighters, like Amanda Nunes is the one bringing home the bread, you know.
Yeah, that's what I said to her. I said, I said Nina Ansaroff, her girlfriend or wife is pregnant. You're like, yeah, no.
Oh no, I thought you said. I thought she said she's waiting to have a kid, and I was like. All right, I thought you meant she was the one who was going to get pregnant.
Nina Ansaroff's like walking around pregnant.
Oh, was she? All right.
Yeah.
Congrats, guys.
Yeah, sounds good.
Girls, man.
Yeah,
Jesus.
Guys is an Irish colloquialism term. Get over that.
That's the crack.
2020. Come on.
Yeah. That was guys is a non-binary term, man. Get out of here.
It is exactly.
It is. Yeah, it is.
Well, lads,
and if you take offence, it's your own fault.
Lads, this was great. Obviously, if it cut out there after a while, but I'll mend that. But lads, this was good crack. We're obviously going to have to do it again. Ian, do you have anything else to say, or anything else to shout out, or people to keep an eye on you?
I'm going 2-0. I'm winning this.
Oh. All right. Well, I'll make sure.
I'll have the pen and paper out, watching the fights, ticking people off as we go along.
That's what I did last time. I have to listen back and be like, I just write down everything.
Oh, stop.
Ian, thanks again for coming on. We're gonna have to do it again. Like, and just keep safe and like, and then once we find out what the crack is with Cage Warriors. Yeah, I mean, we'll be doing more. We'll have you on again a couple more times before that, anyhow, right?
Perfect. It's a pleasure being here, and thanks for always asking me, guys. It's always nice to come on and do something. So, it's a pleasure.
Yeah, we'll see you for UFC 251. Ian Garry, the pay-per-view king.
Yeah, Okay, so
make
guys,
sure to like, share, subscribe, and as always,
stay energized.
Stay energized.
He does it. He loves it.